Episode 65 of Multiplaying is brought to you by Vicodin.
Paint is bullshit.
Everybody online looking good.
A companion podcast to the collaborative blog and gaming community that's playing as life allows. This is Multiplaying.
Well, let's start the insanity.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hello?
Great heavens! What kind of radio show is this?
Welcome back to Multiplaying, everybody. A couple weeks passed, but we're back, bitches. Let's start off. Well, on the show, we got Rare.
What's up?
We got Jason.
Hello.
We got John.
Hello.
And we got me, Steve. What are you drinking, Rare?
I am drinking Gatorade while eating cold Chinese food. The ultimate Friday combo.
That's gross.
It's delicious.
That is gross.
So, when did you order that Chinese food?
About an hour ago.
It's already cold?
Maybe 2 hours.
That's been there 3 days, hasn't it?
What?
Sitting
No.
out in the open.
It is sweet and sour chicken, and it is still
No,
delicious.
it's just sour chicken by now.
I found it in the hallway. What's up?
Can't waste food.
Yeah, that's no shit. College, yay. John, what you drinking?
I am drinking water because I work early in the morning.
Oh,
I know. Sorry.
water. Jason, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water as well.
With your Vicodin.
I'm drinking Vicodin with a splash of agua.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do we want to explain the Vicodin?
Sure.
It can be brief. You don't have to get into gruesome detail.
I was trying to make some kick-ass chili, and I cut my finger getting the can open. Had to get a bunch of stitches, and I'm on some painkillers for it. So.
Awesome. But did you ever finish the chili? I meant to ask you that.
Oh yeah, no, it was really, really good.
I was really tempted to make a Wendy's chili joke.
If anyone asks, we threw the beans out that I was cutting my. That's what Shannon told me to say.
But you really didn't.
No, it didn't have any blood on them.
Okay, that was fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It tasted phenomenal.
That's good. That's awesome. And I have got a amaretto sour. So what up?
Whoa! This is like bizarro.
Yes. What is up? I'm the only one drinking.
You're right.
This is Bizarro World right now.
Yeah. Oh well.
It is a sign of the end of
The
times.
world really is ending tomorrow.
Yep.
Wicked. Let's see. Let's get into what we've been playing. This will probably comprise most of the show with no topical news of any sort, because it has been so long since any of us have talked about what we've been playing. So let's start off with Rare, because I got some questions for you, boy.
All right,
what have
good.
you been playing?
I'm glad you have questions, because I have a lot of stuff to talk about, hopefully. It's been a while since I've been on the show. I was on episode 62, but we had some technical difficulties. So
yeah,
the past
sucked.
2 months of gaming, I played Uncharted.
Let's narrow that
Waters
down
Online.
a little bit, though.
Yeah, I'll try and be concise. I played Uncharted Waters Online for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's a free-to-play sort of like Renaissance-era exploration game, and it's interesting. It didn't stick with me. I stopped after about a week, but for the week that I was playing, it was a lot of fun. It's a very nautical-based game where you kind of build your own ships, and you can be like a trader or like a pirate or just like a naval officer. It's an interesting game. If you enjoy free-to-play games and you like exploration, I would say check it out. Yeah,
You know what's
fun.
funny, Rare? When you said trader, I envisioned an entire class based on betrayal.
Yeah.
That's what I initially imagined. And then I
You're
was
probably
like,
a trader with money, but you can be a trader because each character is with a certain nationality, like England or France or Spain or Portugal.
No, but I started picturing like you only get experience when you backstab
When
a
you
friend,
betray people.
or like
Your
when
first mission is to go to the traitor guild and speak with the guild master. You're like, no, I'm not doing that.
yeah, like you traitor, it'd be like exactly. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, for a week, it was actually a lot of fun. It is free to play, so hey, why not check it out? I'll go with Eve last because that's probably going to take a while to talk about. So
Sure.
I actually got 60 free days for Age of Conan from
How'd you get
Rudin.
60?
Because he had a game time code that he never used, and he was
Oh,
like, "Oh,
okay.
you're playing Conan." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Here's 60 free days." I was like, "Oh, all right then." So didn't have to pay anything to play Conan again, which is great because I really like Age of Conan. I feel like it has a lot of potential, but for some reason it just doesn't have a lot of staying power with me.
Yeah.
Like I like to play it for like a week. It's really fun, and then I'm just kind of like, okay, time to move on, which is
I like the
unfortunate.
fighting mechanics.
I feel the same way about Age of Conan and his fighting mechanics.
So I got into a guild that does all sorts of content, so I'm trying to give it a real chance and go and do that
good
end
2
game
months,
stuff
yeah.
that I never did before.
Mhm.
So hopefully that'll turn out good. I really love the gameplay though. I feel it has so much potential. So who knows? Maybe I'll stick with it.
Did they ever work in like PvP? Because I knew like early on that was something they wanted to do, but
Well,
I never heard how that
is-
went.
PvP has always been in there. It's just a matter of like guild versus guild.
Okay.
I mean, it's there. From what I can tell, World PvP is kind of dead because
Okay.
it gives really bad experience in comparison to the scenarios.
right. Okay.
So that's kind of your main fix of PvP. And from what I can tell, class balance is still an issue. I haven't actually partaken in any PvP since I've been back, so I can't give a first-hand experience with that. I'm
Right.
hoping to later, but that's Age of
Okay.
Conan for now. It's just like a fun little vacation. And then same thing with Fallen Earth. Actually, I resub for a month because it's the same thing, except instead of combat, it's crafting. Fallen Earth's crafting
Right.
is just boss.
Yes.
It's so cool. So I finally made my motorcycle, was cruising around, got into sectors 2 and 3, so I'm past that really huge starting zone.
Mhm.
And it does sort of flesh out, but at the same time, it's just like, it's a grind fest. Like,
It
they
is, yeah.
mask it, so you don't really know it's a grind fest, but when you really think about it, it's pretty much just a grind fest.
Right.
So I kind of dropped out of Fallen Earth after about a week, but for $15, it's cool. I enjoyed my time there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm still playing League of Legends. Awesome game as always. Adding new champions, getting back into it. It's a little rusty.
I keep thinking about picking that back up, and like, or I should say, not picking it back up, but downloading it again and
Shot.
trying. Yeah, I don't know. I see people on like Twitter playing it, and that's usually enough to get me to play any game. So I see people talking about it. I'm like, I should download that, but I don't know.
I mean, the big thing with League of Legends is if you're not playing it just for like the competitive edge, you play it with friends. So if
Right.
you don't have those friends accessible when you want to play,
Mhm.
then there's really no point to playing League of Legends.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
very
think
true.
that's probably what the problem is.
It's a whole different game when you're not like playing with friends against other people.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then last game besides Eve is Mountain Blade Fire and Sword, and that's
Woohoo!
like $13 on Steam, I think. Excellent game for the cost. Fantastic indie game. I highly recommend it. I know some hardcore like Mountain Blade fans like prefer Warband more. I never played Warband, and I love Fire and Sword.
Well, what it is it's the same game, but Fire and Sword added guns and grenades.
I feel like they add a lot to the game. Some people are like, "Oh, guns are OP." I'm like, they're guns. They kill people at range. I mean, maybe they're
This death ray is overpowered.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're a bit too accurate just for the time period. I don't know. Personally, I use guns, so
Well,
Well,
the rebels were a little bit
interested
pissed
by
about the
it.
Death Star and Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
Whoa, come on.
Nerf that.
Yeah.
honestly, for $13 or $14, whatever it is right now, great buy. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And
it is pretty great. I mean, you start like aligning yourself with factions and start expanding your kingdom if you eventually get to take one over and all that kind of crazy shit.
I don't know like anything about the game, so is it like
it's like a giant bloody sandbox. Like
is
think
it
of
like
Yes.
it's online?
You
Uh,
can play battles online,
Yeah.
but not the campaign map.
like the
Okay.
campaign is like one giant world map that is persistent, and what you do affects the map and yada yada. Because there's like there's six nations that are fighting each other, and you
Yeah.
can either go out on your own or you can align with the nation. It's totally open ended as to what you want to do, and then the multiplayer is just kind of like a scenario, like
Okay.
it's just a battle,
All right.
whereas there's no map. And I was kind of disappointed by that at first. But for $14, I got over it
Right.
because the single player is just really, really fun and engaging.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
I recommend that. And now I'm on to Eve. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to just like
No,
talk about it?
only wasn't there. Did we talk about it the last time that you were on? But wasn't there something else you were playing? Age of Empires.
Oh, Age of Empires Online. You're
Yeah.
right. I totally forgot about that. I haven't played that game in like 2 weeks. I'll touch on that first. Age of Empires Online is no longer under an NDA, so I think they're in open beta now, actually. So if you want to, Age of Empires fans can go download it right now and play it. It is a really fun game. I honestly didn't think it was going to work as an MMO, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They really pulled it off. The basic idea is that you have your capital city, and that is persistent. It's like in League of Legends where you have your summoner that levels up after every game.
Right.
Same thing with your capital city. Your capital city gets new buildings, you get new technology, new units, you can customize more. Just a giant meta game that's really fun. And then you have those single scenarios where, you start with your town center, and just like a normal Age of Empires 2 game, you build your city and you go do whatever the objective is, kill a guy or rescue someone or build a city at such time, whatever. And those are fun. It's just like playing Age of Empires 2, but online. So, I mean, if that's a thing, I would highly recommend it. It's free to play. As of right now, they say they have no intentions of doing subscription-based. I think that their idea is, as they add more civilizations and
make them like packs that you have to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And then there's also a thing where you can have advisors, and the advisors give you like buffs to your technology or new units, and it's nothing game breaking. So if you want to just do a free to play, PvP with other people at like Age of Empires 2, you can totally do that without spending a dime. But if you want to, you can get these new units, and that just adds more. It adds more like flavor to the game, but it's not something that you have to do to be competitive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's going to be a big hit. It's a little niche because obviously it's an RTS MMO, so it probably won't be for everyone. But if you like Age of Empires, I would check it out. It's just Age of Empires Online. It's really easy to find.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to Eve then.
All right. Well, pretty much with Eve, I'll start off by saying I don't want to toot my own horn, but there's a pretty awesome article on Multiplaying right now called Eve Online Operation Flashbang. And that's just a story of me and my corporation clearly compensating. You can take that for what you will. But our corporation was stuck in hostile space, and we basically rescued about $750 worth, if you do the money transaction, of gear in the game out of this hostile space. And it's a really good article. I hope you read it and enjoy it. But we actually just did another op, finished today actually, where we made about 13 billion ISK, and then we paid everyone. So
Jeez.
I can't go into all the details of how we procured this 13 billion, but I
this is top secret clearance. You understand?
Selling Vicodin on the black market.
Yeah,
secret.
maybe. But our corp is doing a lot of stuff. We're having a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying Eve. The one thing that's big for me with Eve players is if you have a good corp, you will enjoy Eve. If you don't have a good corp, you will probably get bored. So I try and be as engaging as possible with new people to get them in our corp and really enjoy the game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Part of my thing is with the game is I read your Operation Flashbang story, and it was a really good read. It was enjoyable. It's one of those Eve stories that you see it shows you the kind of crazy shit that game has going on all the time. But it also shows me that like I want to be a part of that because it's just so unique in game, in any like form of gaming. That is just so fucking unique. But it also shows me I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I will say right now, what we do is a huge time commitment, and we don't ask everyone to be on for 10 hours a day.
Right.
But when shit hits the fan, you got to have those 5 or 6 guys that are can step up to the plate and be like, all right, let's get this done. Let's save the day.
Right.
And just since it's summer right now and I don't have a part-time job until the end of the month, I have that kind of time for now. And when I have a part-time job, we'll see. Maybe I'll have to reduce my hours a bit. But
we'll see how long I keep that part-time job.
Yeah. But it is a really fun game. I know it's hard to get into. The first month is by far the most brutal just because there's so much that you want to do but you can't do. If you can get past that first month, the game really opens up. So I encourage people to at least give it a shot. If you want 21 days of a free trial, you can contact me or anyone in our corp or any Eve player, honestly, and they can give you a 21-day free trial to try out the game. I really encourage people to give it a shot. I know it is hard to get into, but it's a lot of fun once you get out there and start doing some crazy shit.
That's cool. All right. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks
Awesome.
for letting me go on and on.
No problem. Jason, what you been playing, man?
Well, I've been having some trouble playing certain games.
Well, yeah, with the finger. Yep.
Yeah. I did play some Moko before I got the injury.
How is Moko?
Moko's awesome.
Moko is awesome.
Yeah, I got to play some online finally right before. It was really bittersweet because a Sunday right after you left, I got to play some online because as we were hanging out Saturday night, we were getting the breaking news that PSN was coming back up.
Yep.
And I got to go on there and had a good run for about an hour and a half, and I got a real nice welcome back to online gaming to where if any of you have played Moko online, you know that once you finish a match, you can give like respect points to somebody for like out of 10 to let you know what you thought of the match. So I joined this King of the Hill match where this guy was beating people, and I think he was hosting the match, and I finally got my turn, and it was a smoke versus smoke match, and it went 3 rounds, and at the end of it, it was like he beat me with like 20% left, so I gave him 8 out of 10. So like, okay. So I went back to the line, then got back up to him and played him as Johnny Cage against Smoke, and I beat him in 3 rounds. It was really close, and he does 0 points out of 10, and then all of a sudden, this match has been, you have been kicked out of the thing. It's like,
rage.
Okay. Very, very nice. Okay, so I got welcome back to online gaming.
That's low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the idea that they were going to actually let people grade each other.
Yeah, it just lends itself to...
Yeah, especially in more... not that I want to say that every player that plays Moko is like a D-bag or anything, because I play it. Well, maybe every player is. But
dicks will be dicks. I mean,
but yeah, there are like a certain amount of people out there that play those games, and I think that Mortal Kombat's the kind of game that lends itself more to that type of player that's going to just kind of be on there and be a dick. I don't know if it's going to be taken as seriously as other games, and I think from like as far as the tournament perspective goes, it is being taken pretty seriously. But as far as like consumers just playing at home, I think there's going to be more people that are going to play it more casually that are dicks, that are going to be that versus like Super Street Fighter or Marvel versus Capcom.
I don't know if it's just because of the new hotness or not.
I don't know.
I mean, those dicks were all present when all those games were released.
That's true.
I don't know,
but they couldn't just out and out say, "Yo, I'm a dick because I'm going to give you a 0."
I know. It's like,
that's true. They could have been there. We just don't know it as much. So
yeah. I don't know, but I was really enjoying that game until I had the the big injury that was a major. I don't know. I'm going to support my family right now, but no, it's been pissing me off because I was so like, okay, I'm gonna play this a lot more, and then that happened like literally 20 minutes later, and I think on the way to the ER while Shannon was driving, I was like, God damn, I'm gonna play Mortal Kombat for a while.
Yeah. How long after I left was it that you cut yourself?
It was probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Just can't do anything on your own. Got to be there all the time.
No,
Steve.
actually, it was probably like 3 hours because we went out and
okay.
got breakfast after you left, and we came back, and I was starting chili like to make it for dinner,
Gotcha.
to get it going, and yeah. So
all right,
that sucked.
But it was like I think it was by the time that I got home, because I think I got home and I said hi to everybody. I said, "Okay, get the hell away from me," and I went into my computer. And not really, but then I checked my Twitters and stuff and saw that you had been...
We were at the ER.
You were like four-squaring in at the ER. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
Yeah.
That's pretty
that
funny.
Sucked. So I tried to play a little bit earlier today, and I played some arcade or story mode to get ready to go online, and I couldn't do it yet because I can't use my pointer finger yet. So I was trying to use like my middle finger and
no low punches.
No, yeah. So like I was able to play the arcade mode, but there's no way I could play. Right. And then it got like after 20 minutes, I was like, oh god, my fingers are getting tired. So that sucked.
Playing online real quick before we move on. Did you notice any lag playing online?
No, I saw that you
Really?
tweeted that, and I mean the limited time that I got to play, there wasn't any.
I played like probably 4 matches, and it was every single one of them was laggy, like really bad. But it was like the next day of the network getting back up, so I intend to go back and check it out again.
Yeah.
I don't know that I won a single match, but I know that most of the matches I played were close, even with trying to like compensate for the lag. But I do remember playing one match where I just was. It was that match that I kind of, and I have. This is part of the reason I've not been back to try it. It was the one that I dreaded. Well, I think we talked about it when I was up at your place. It was the big fear that I had for Mortal Kombat is I don't like fighting games that you get juggled around a lot. That's part of the reason why I did not like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I understand there is skill still in there. I totally get it, but it's just not my kind of fighting game. But
Neither.
I haven't really experienced that in Mortal Kombat yet. But then I played this guy that was using Cyrax and just back and forth across the screen juggling me, and I was just like, man, this was the one that I just was dreading because it kind of ruined it for me. So
I was really hoping not to meet you.
Yeah, I intend on going back and really trying to learn a couple characters and see how it goes and see what kind of, because I can definitely tell that more than any other Mortal Kombat in the past, it's got some legs to it. It's got something there that seems very technical, something that's going to be worth playing for a while. And it's really good. So. But what else have you been playing?
With the whole SOE or Sony going down, when it came back on, I just went onto my station account and saw that I have no idea why, but I have 45 days free of DCUO.
Which you never bought it.
I never bought it. I beta tested it, but I never bought it.
I should go and see if I have that.
You should, because whenever the launcher tells me, you have 44 days left and you can purchase it here. So I don't know who they opened it up to or what. But
I think what they did was anyone that had active accounts at one point, whether it was beta or bought.
Okay.
Oh, I probably wouldn't have it then.
So would you get a free month for buying the game on top of that 45?
I doubt it. I don't know if it's retroactive, because that would mean that you technically were not affected by the outage because you never owned the game during that time or never had an account that you could have activated during that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. But I'm going to take my 45 days here and probably try to get my enjoyment out of it and not buy it. But so far, it's a fun, different MMO type game.
Very action based, isn't it?
Yeah, I plugged my 360 controller in and I've been playing it, enjoying it a lot more playing it that way.
Really?
It feels like one of those. It's almost like a superhero, like Infamous or like the third person.
Kind of, yeah.
Game.
Yep.
It feels like that, but it's an MMO.
Yeah,
it plays that way.
I've been using my controller to actually combat, and then when I switch to UI, just setting it down and using the keyboard, and it does a pretty good job of. It lets you do whatever. You can take control of it as soon as you grab the mouse and do it that way, or you can play it with the controller. And I don't know. I'm only like level 8 or so, but the story stuff is pretty cool so far. The way it guides you, and you have the instances, and you have the actual heroes guiding you.
Right.
But someone asked me on Twitter what I thought of it, and I probably see myself at the end of 45 days. I'll probably be done with it. But I'm going to take my time and enjoy it while I'm playing it. So,
like at the end of the 45, it'll just kind of what that is, and there's not enough there to keep you interested. You think?
Doesn't seem like it. The one thing that has me kind of intrigued is as I've been playing in the main areas outside of the instances, so like Metropolis or Gotham, I'll see little prompts that pop up and say there's a world PvP event starting, and it'll tell me see so and so to do this. So I'm kind of interested to see what that'll be and see if I can get involved in that and see if that's any fun. But it's right now it's fun for what it is. I clicked the purchase thing just to see what it was, and it's still $50, which. I don't know. It seems kind of ridiculous to me, but I haven't seen all there is to it. But right now, I'm enjoying it for my free time.
That's cool.
Hard to judge it when you're playing it for free.
Right.
Yeah, when you're not paying for it, it seems a lot better.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And did I see that you were playing Star Trek Online as well?
Yeah, I've been playing that. I started the rerun stuff that went live today, and God,
Nice.
they really, I don't know if we were going to talk about this in news or not, but the whole cryptic selling.
I wasn't intending on it, but we might as well speak on it real quick.
That has me worried.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know, John, you're a
I
member.
didn't. Well, I've had the lifetime, but I didn't hear about what's going on because I haven't followed STO for a little while. I've been involved in other stuff with the house. And,
Atari is moving away from development, it seems, so they're selling Cryptic.
Interesting.
I have not seen since it would have been like Wednesday or Thursday any news on it, so I haven't seen if there's been any potential buyers named off, but that was the bit of news that came up. I think it was like in a, I don't remember what kind of meeting it was that they even brought it up in, but they had basically said that they were moving away from the development side of the business, and so they were going to sell off Cryptic, and it was like, oh, snap.
So have there been any like press releases from Cryptic or anything?
No, nothing yet.
Nothing.
So
No.
I
It really, playing through these seasons so far, it really upsets me because they're so good. The seasons are.
They're awesome.
And I don't know if you played the third one. I mean, it's fully voiced.
No, I've actually had a problem with. I just started playing. I had never played through other than the first couple episodes, like a few months ago, and I had resubbed my account, went through all the first season, and I just started the second season. And there's a problem with like I think it's the first mission. Right at the end of the first mission, something happens and it knocks me back to desktop, and it gives me a screen which I can say, okay, what happened? Let us know so we can fix it. And I've not been back to try it again for like a week. I did it 2 or 3 times, and every time it would kick me off of there. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just kind of let it go. And I let it do the full scan, and after doing the full scan, I've not been back to I haven't had any time to devote to that, so I plan on doing that hopefully sometime within the next week and see if they fixed it. So
that sucks.
It might just be something with me because I know other people have been playing it and I haven't seen any complaints about that. So, but yeah, I loved the first season. The second season seems really cool with the Davidians, and
that sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm very interested, and I love what they do with that. And what I'm excited about is because with the Foundry stuff being there now, I have these already pre-made developer episodes to run through, and that's a ton of content right there. And then there's the Foundry stuff that's been kicking out by the users, and I've heard nothing but good things about the Foundry. And on top of that, I've heard that there's actually some very, very good user-created content that I really want to check out. So,
do you know, when people make their own missions in the Foundry, can they assign XP to them?
I believe so.
Really? Okay.
I don't know exactly how that works. No, I have no idea how that works exactly, but
I have to assume they have like a stock, like if
probably.
It's just like it gives this much XP depending on how much content you put in.
Probably, I would assume
it's
so.
probably static. Otherwise,
there's
like
who would play it?
Well, people like they allowed it at first in City of Heroes, and they immediately had power leveling instances that was you kill one mob, you get the completion, you do it again, it's repeatable.
Right.
So they had to shut it down and rework that in City of Heroes and City of Villains. So I can't imagine that they would allow you to do that in STO.
Yeah, I would think not. But I'm really interested in checking that out. And I think one of the most exciting things about STO, and why I hope it keeps going, is in Twitter we've been talking about these seasons over the last couple of weeks while they're doing the reruns. And like, do you remember any MMO where you're like worried about spoilers for a quest? Because
no.
I mean, yeah, like that's never. I don't remember that ever happening, and that is so awesome that people are actually worried about that, and these stories actually matter and are that intriguing that I hope Cryptic can keep going with this, because I know a lot of people gave up on STO really early, but it's really turned into a very unique MMO that you can do what you want. You can go and you don't have to. It's not a set path. It's not linear. but there are some really cool things to see in it.
Yeah. Above all else, the Star Trek Online is the one game, and not just MMO. I think it's probably the game that has come back to actually completely win me over, because I had played it in beta and I hated it. I absolutely just hated it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. And then for it to be now that I'm looking at it as like it's the most unique MMO really out there, except for maybe Eve. I mean, and Eve is its own monster, but I mean, as far as the created content in the game, I mean, because Eve has its own thing with the players being able to mold the universe as they see it fit, but Star Trek Online is the way that the universe is actually crafted to feel like Star Trek and to actually have that sort of content is just amazing. It's so unique. So,
yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
But have you been playing anything else, Jason?
Nope, that's about it.
Just fingering stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really play much right now.
Actually, I did have a question, Jason.
Yeah.
Have you been playing Terraria at all?
I bought it yesterday, and I played a little bit of it.
I mean,
So that's how you feel about it?
For those who don't know what Terraria is, it's basically a 2D Minecraft, and that's putting it in extremely simple terms.
Yeah, and I played probably an hour of it yesterday, and maybe hour and a half of it today, and it's very unique and it's pretty cool. But I mean, as I'm playing it, I'm kind of thinking I should load up Minecraft and try that out.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to simplify that, because Terraria does a lot of very unique things, and it's got a great art style, like a 16-bit art style, and but like I keep thinking I could go bust out and have more fun exploring things with that.
Is the point that the things that you are enjoying in Terraria is done better in Minecraft?
Yeah, to me so far, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done any of like the boss fights or gotten any like
No.
weapons or anything like that?
No, I have crafted a couple weapons, and the NPC type thing is kind of what made me buy it, the premise of that, and I haven't gotten to that yet, and I plan to. All I've done so far is I've survived my first couple of nights, and I've built my house, and I haven't really looked at too many guides, so I'm sure there's a lot more efficient way of doing that. But I've just kind of been surviving so far and seeing what I can build, and the UI is pretty slick, and I could see there's potential there, and I want to see the NPC type stuff, but I kept pausing it and doing other things, and then like I kept looking at Minecraft on my desktop, like, well, you know, I could go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think my one issue is, and I've been watching a playthrough because I didn't want to buy it, but I wanted to know, I wanted to give it a fair shake, so I've been watching a playthrough, and it just seems like once you get items like a grappling hook and like what is basically a lightsaber, like the survival
Break the
aspect
game.
is gone.
Yeah.
Like you're not necessarily like overpowered, but it's easy. You know what I mean?
I think part of that's putting it on a 2D plane, because I mean, it's a lot easier to see things that are heading your way,
Right.
Rather than getting like jumped by a spider from behind or something.
where you're hearing the noise, and that's one thing I remember about Minecraft that was so well done. I remember having a house that was down, and I was mining down, and I hearing the noise of zombies who are kind of on the other side, and having that freak you out, and being out in the world and trying to pick up on the audio cues. That's a lot more efficient, well done when you're in a 3D space versus a side scroller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where I was worried about zombies and I got jumped by a spider, from the other way, or like I'm like, oh crap, worried about positioning myself against the what do you call it, the boomer or the creeper?
Oh, creeper, yeah.
The creeper, the creeper. I'm like trying to okay, just keep myself distance from there, and then all of a sudden I get knocked from behind from the spider, and they knock me into the creeper, and then I'm like, son of a.
The one thing I will say that Troy has going for it, though, is the lighting. Like, when you go in a cave, like in Minecraft, you can kind of see a little bit of what's going on. It is pitch black in Terraria. Like, if you don't have, like, a mining helmet or a torch or something, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. And you can fall down really deep caverns and stuff. And I don't know. I don't see myself buying it, but for people who like that kind of game, I would still recommend it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's very well done. And one thing that Minecraft had really good music too, but the music is really, really good in Terraria.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's totally. It seems well done, and I've watched a couple videos later today after I stopped playing, and I mean, the game seems well done. And if you, like you said, if you enjoy that type of thing, it's $10 well spent.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Move on to John. What's up, John?
Hey.
What you been playing, man?
A lot of stuff. I'll make the unimportant one short.
Sure.
I also been playing Mountain Blade, as we commented on earlier. Do love that game, actually. It's pretty cool. Haven't been able to spend much time on it. Dynasty Warriors 7 is a guilty pleasure. I've been playing that with Tack. We've been doing on purpose. Yeah, on purpose.
No, that's fine. Hey,
so
tons of people play that game.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why. I have no idea why. But
tons of Asian people play that game, and then I think we're the only 2 Americans. But no, but it's one of those things where it's just how like people would still play Diablo 2 or still play
sure.
Trine or whatever. It's just like that grinding, like, I don't know. So we just do that just because it's hilarious and it's whatever. Yeah. I started Demon Souls, only started, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But it's fucking hard. The tutorial kicks my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't know if you guys have heard about that game before.
No, I've got it, but I've still not even played too far into it.
Yeah. I like that ending of the tutorial. It's pretty funny. And then I started getting into the worlds, and I was just like, oh god, I don't have time for this like difficulty right now. Anyway. And then Brink.
Yeah, Brink.
Been doing that.
Yeah.
I finished the campaign on both sides. That was fun.
Single player?
Yeah, the single player.
You play? Oh, okay. Did the single player actually get it interesting at all? Because the AI was kind of shit.
Well, from what I understand, the AI scales with your player level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's meant to like ease you into the combat for people who either have not played FPSs before or really are not good at the Twitch gaming, like running along walls and that kind of stuff. That seems like that's kind of why they do that, but it doesn't really work out because your AI sucks too.
Right.
Your team's AI. So it's like both AI teams suck, and then it's just like...
Not that I would know, because I haven't even been able to play yet. Because for certain ATI users, and it sounds like certain NVIDIA users too, but on the PC version, it seems to run like total ass. And I just bought this computer, so it should be fine. It played Crysis 2 flawlessly, so for Brink to be running at under like 20 frames a second, it seems a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, that's terrible. Wow.
So has that killed your enthusiasm for the game, or are you still willing to give it? It really has.
No, I'm still gonna give it like a total. I'm gonna give it its total worth. But
it kills the momentum for actually playing.
I kind of check every day and see if there's been an update for it. If there has, I jump in and see how the frame rate was affected. And it seems like every time I jump in, it's just like, yeah, it's still broken.
But have they said, like, what's is it like a memory leak, or like what is it?
They haven't said specifically what it is, and I have not checked the forums in a few days, so I don't know if they've pinpointed it more. The only thing that they've said is that they realize there are some issues, and they've kept it very open, and that they were going to continue to patch the game to fix these issues. And
very vague.
Okay. Yeah, they've been pretty vague on their releases, but like I said, again, I've not checked in a few days, so they may have pinpointed some more. But I know from day like 1 of release, there was threads popping up about ATI issues. It sounds like it was more of a problem for ATI users than it was NVIDIA, but it sounded like later on it sounded like there was some from that side as well. But wow. It's bad as far as my motivation to play it. But once it does get fixed, and once I can play it as well as it should be able to be played, I'm very eager to see what kind of game it is. It sounds different, and I want to see something different. So we'll see.
It's good. I just I've fallen off of it since I beat the campaign, because I've been doing a bunch of other games, of course.
Right.
But it's like, it doesn't feel different enough, I guess.
Okay.
Like when I'm playing it, like it's good, it's fun. Like I've had certain moments where like I was on a online match one time, and I just have like one brief moment of awesome where it's like I ran up a wall, jumped to a pipe, killed 3 people, and like knifed another one and then died. But then the rest of my game is shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the only thing is that even in multiplayer games, if the room is not full, it could be filled with bots, and it doesn't really tell you clearly who's a bot and who's not.
That
sucks.
sucks.
So I kind of feel like, then there's like, oh, that was awesome, and then I remember, oh, but they could have been bots. Like, oh, okay.
Deflates it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fun, but I'm just kind of like, it's, oh well. I mean, maybe when it picks up with the driver issues or whatever happens.
Right. All right.
And besides that, my favorite, I think, so far is actually The Witcher, the first one.
Really?
Yeah. Have you guys ever played that one, The Witcher?
Briefly.
It's
never played it, but I want to.
Okay. It's hard to explain how difficult it is to get past chapter 1, as I'm sure you experienced, Steve.
Because of what are you coming from?
I mean, like, the combat system's weird.
Yeah.
The graphics are just sometimes just terrible. You just want to, like, look away.
I didn't have a problem with the actual graphics as much as I did, how should I put it, the way mechanically it felt to move around and do anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, that took a lot of getting used to. Okay. But I had been reading so many reviews about how non-linear it is and how the consequences are not... It's sort of like in contrast to BioWare. So any BioWare game, you pick a BioWare game, it's awesome writing, great decisions and stuff like that, but it's always, always good, evil. Yeah, right. Your typical good, your typical evil, and that's pretty much it. And then you have like neutral or joking or sarcastic, which is just like doesn't really accomplish anything morality-wise. The Witcher, in contrast, and very interestingly enough, now that I'm in like halfway through chapter 2, which I'm getting like really addicted now, is that there's no good or evil answers at all. It's slightly different conversation choices to the point where you may just be saying one thing versus the other, and the consequences just show up later in the story, and you don't know when it's going to show up, what's going to happen. Perfect example is I freed a bunch of like kind of like prisoners and slaves that were being oppressed and stuff like that, and gave them like some weapons and like, here, free yourself, go back to your homeland, that kind of thing. They're like, oh, thank you so much, we're not any kind of criminals, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, I feel pretty good about this, this is awesome, like I'm feeling good. And then I go back, I get to the next chapter of the game, and I go to try and meet my contact for the next chapter. And it's like, okay, you're supposed to go here, and then it looks pretty standard. I get there, and the guy's dead. Murdered by the people I freed and gave weapons to.
Nice.
And there's other things that it's like, decisions that you've made in the previous chapter affect the very next chapter that you're playing in ways that you're like, oh, crap, I wish I could go back.
That would frustrate me. Like, do you find that intriguing, and that it's like you for once don't have control, whereas in like BioWare you're like, oh, I'm doing good things, so a good thing will probably happen, whereas here you thought you were doing good thing and something bad just happened?
It's so much more interesting because I guess I've been playing BioWare games, RPGs lately just so much, like Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age 2, replaying KOTOR, that kind of thing, that like having a consequence actually come out from something that I didn't expect is like exciting. Because now I have to hunt down those bastards and kill them for getting my contact. Because now my entire chapter of this game, I have to do things the hard way because my contact is dead. So I can play back through the game and play a different way now. And, say do it the other way instead and say the contact won't be dead, but maybe, they'll have a rebellion or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's way more intriguing to me to have those shades of gray than the typical good and evil. And that's not to down BioWare, because I freaking love BioWare's games. And I love playing through as a full evil and then playing through as a full good and then doing a whatever. And then, I played BioWare games multiple times through. But this Witcher thing, man, it has got me hooked. Oh my God. Yeah. And I admit, Steve, the control system was very terrible. Wonky. I'll just go ahead and say terrible. But once you adjust yourself to it, you can do it from isometric, which makes it a little bit better, where you click to move and stuff like that. But I ended up just getting used to the third person over the shoulder. Mm-hmm. it's not as bad as it seems, and once you get the rhythm down, it's actually pretty good, pretty smooth. But then the reason actually that I ended up getting Witcher 1 and playing through it was because I have Witcher 2 sitting on my desk.
Awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. I ended up that was my motivation. I was like, okay, now I have to play Witcher 1.
Well, cool.
So now I'm addicted though. Now it's like crazy. So anyway, that's it. And also LA Noire.
But wait. Before we do that, because I think that's what it's probably we're gonna sign off with that one. Let me go through mine real quick.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because I've also been playing LA Noire, but before I get into that, only other thing I really guess because most of the stuff we've been talking about, I've also been playing as far as Brink, Mortal Kombat, Star Trek Online. The only other one that I wanted to mention real quick was since the PlayStation Network came back up. Partly because of that, and partly because I haven't played it in a long time. Gran Turismo 5, I have not played in forever. The main reason I stopped playing it is because in midst of we were going through and cleaning out a bunch of stuff from our house and rearranging, I decided to get rid of this shoddy old desk that my wife has had since she went off to college, and that was what I was using as a stand to mount the steering wheel to, but it was a piece of shit, so we were like, okay, fuck it, get rid of it. I'll figure something else out to use. I've not been able to figure anything else out to use. So my wife, being the awesome woman that she is, I had happened to mention a couple weeks ago that I want to play Gran Turismo, but I can't think of anything to use, and she was trying to find something around the house to mount to. But she had went off to the grocery last weekend and happened across a small computer desk that was on clearance for like $10. So she picked it up, and it's just perfect for what I need. So I'm using it for that, and using it for fighting games, putting my fight stick on there and using that, and it's absolutely perfect for what I need. So I did start playing Gran Turismo 5 again, and it had been so long since I had played that I had over a gig of patch to the game. Yeah, and after all was said and done, I will say the one thing that I remember that was kind of driving me away from, weirdly odd pun there, driving me away from Gran Turismo 5 was the load times. The load times were pretty horrendous, but they must have fixed that like immensely since then, because the load times are really not that bad now. The worst load time that I had was when I went in the arcade mode real quick because it said that I had the Nürburgring available to drive on. So I went in to check that out because it's like one of my dreams in life is to go to Germany and drive the Nürburgring. And the only reason that that's such a long load time is because that is a long ass race course. It is like 14 kilometers long or something like that. It's huge. Maybe longer than that. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, load times are great. So if you haven't played Gran Turismo 5 in a long time, go check it out again because it's awesome. But yeah, now with that being done, let's talk about LA Noire.
Okay. Well,
John.
I really didn't get to play a whole lot of it because I've been sinking hours into The Witcher. But
okay. How many hours would you say you're into LA Noire?
LA Noire?
Yeah.
Only maybe 2. I'm only a few cases in. I mean,
okay.
So each case is not very long, at least the ones that I'm on.
Have you moved? Are you on traffic duty still?
I'm still on traffic. Yeah, I'm still on traffic.
You moved up to a detective?
I'm a traffic detective, yeah.
Okay.
So like anything that's related to car thefts or that kind of stuff, I guess, would be.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, right now I just finished the one with the it was
no
like
spoilers.
It was left in a train. The car was in a train yard. And
okay. Yeah.
There was a water heater involved.
Yes. Don't talk anymore.
That's it. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, so I just finished that one, and I signed off to go sate my Witcher obsession.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really liking the interview system. What I've seen of it, I mean, it's a little deceiving the first couple times you use it, when you say doubt, it's like, I think there's something missing, but I don't know what. Let me hit doubt. I know you're lying, whore!
He doesn't, yeah, he like yells at people when you doubt them.
But it does say, after, in retrospect, in the game manual, not that anyone reads those anymore, that the doubt says he will question them aggressively to try and force out the truth, though he has no evidence.
Right.
It does say forcefully, stuff like, but the truth button is the one that's like, okay, coaxing out the truth. The doubt button is like screaming at them like bad cop, and then the I know you're lying is pointing out evidence, is just saying, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's sort of like
I know you're lying because let me flip to my book and figure out why I know you're lying.
Yeah. I know you're lying. Well, why? Well, hang on a second. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. I have it right here. I have it 1 second. I wrote it down. There it is. Because I found your hair. But I'm a brunette. Shit!
Right.
Like. Anyway, so I don't know. But
the curtains match the drink.
Yeah. Drop them.
The curtains. That's it. Anyway, so I really do like it though. What do you think, Steve? So far, the one thing I hate
go ahead.
is driving.
You don't have to.
I know. I always make my partner drive.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm like 50-50.
I mean, I occasionally drive because I want to pick up some street crime. You know,
Yeah, I like those
things.
the little side quests.
Yeah, those are nice. I like them. I like that you occasionally have to chase people down and whatever, all that stuff. But the driving, oh my god! I spend every time I drive, I'm like, don't hit things. Oh, Gran Turismo. I mean, not Gran Turismo. Or like, Grand Theft Auto again. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto again. Right. Oh gosh.
There was actually one moment last night when I was playing that I was going. I think I chose to drive, and I just needed to get to this next spot to interview someone. And I didn't. There was like no hurry for me to get there or anything, but I'm just like racing along, and I'm looking at the map to see where the roads were gonna like intersect and stuff, and see where I needed to turn off to get to my point of interest. And there's no way on the map that I would have known this, but I'm driving, and it looked like it was this perfect like cross of an intersection, and I'm going full bore, and then I finally look up towards like where I'm driving, and I'm going towards a cliff. And I was like, oh shit, and it's supposed to dead end right there, but there's another road like right off the edge of the cliff, so I just like fly off of this cliff, and I'm like in midair thinking, this is a car from the 1950s, is it actually going to make this jump without falling apart? And it like slams down and like bounces like real like heavy, like it's got the worst springs ever, and it's just, it was pretty hilarious. And I didn't hit anybody, I didn't kill anybody, it was like just a miraculous thing, but it was hilarious. But the driving still feels like Grand Theft Auto, but it's kind like the cars, the physics feel shoddy like the cars should.
Yeah. No, I get that, and it feels like it was the same kind of feeling like Mafia 2 and other Grand Theft Auto games and stuff, which is fine. But
that's a minor point to
that's a minor point. It's really not really relevant because you can just hold triangle and just have your partner drive, or hold whatever button it is on Xbox.
The main like meat of the game is
it's really fun
finding the clues and going after, like in the interviews, trying to be like the Law and Order guy sitting there talking. I mean, that's what I totally am reminded of when I'm playing the game, is like it feels like I'm watching an episode of Law and Order or CSI when they're sitting there talking to someone trying to coax the truth out of them.
Exactly.
I watched a lot of Law and Order. I watched a lot of shows like that. Even growing up, like my parents loved watching that stuff, so I grew up with that. And you would think that because of that, I would be fucking awesome at this game, but I am fucking horrible at it.
Are you
suck.
Okay? Are you? Do you keep finding all the clues, or you just like keep giving up, or like?
No, I find all the clues. I'm like meticulous about going through any crime scene.
You're like Frank Drebin.
Yeah.
Oh god,
it's fucking horrible. It's like I have like all the clues and stuff, but if something happens in my mind, like when I go up and like, especially when I tell them that, yo, you're lying, and they say, well, what proof do you have, Kappa? And I'll go through the book and it'll have the list of evidence.
You're like, I don't have shit.
Pretty much, I'll go through the list of evidence, and I'm like, well, let's see, bullets, and
because I got bullets. throw him at the witness. I got bullets. Bam.
Well, like, there's one. It's not really much of a spoiler because I'm sure you're going to do it multiple times in the game. But the one guy, I'm like talking with one person. He's like, "You ain't got nothing" or whatever. And I was like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like sitting there looking over the evidence that I have, and there's like bullets, like the shells that were found at the scene, a gun.
I got some cheese
that I knew he had because he had it serviced.
Found this
and
coffee cup
and a few other things. And I'm like, the gun. Maybe?
I don't know. What? Maybe?
And I pick it, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck off." And then you basically you walk out of the room like in disgust because you fucked up. You didn't pick the right thing. I was like, well, what the fuck is it? And I think I did it like 4 times before I was like, okay, there's no other options really left.
You kept resetting the
guess it's
whole
these
case.
panties.
Did you ask your partner Norberg what he thought?
It was I'm fucking horrible at it. There was only one instance in the game where I actually went through an interview and I like just nailed it. I knew it. I saw like I saw the connections.
Wait. Was that the tutorial?
No, that's the thing.
When it tells you what to pick.
No. Well, they don't really tell you what to pick in the first one.
Oh, they did. Yes, they did.
They did. Well, then I fucked that one up bad.
It actually says pick doubt to try and
No. Not as far as like picking doubt or lie. It's when you tell them that they're lying, you then have to pick which piece of evidence.
Yeah, no. In the very first one, it told you what to pick.
No, it couldn't have because I picked like the wrong one 4 times.
It really did. It really did because the first
God damn
time.
It.
Because the very first time I wasn't watching the tutorial prompts, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it was definitely the bullets," and it was like, "Nah, you're a dumbass," and I was like, "Ah," so I reloaded it, and then I was like looking at it, and I realized, "Oh, hey, on the top left, it's telling me to pick this." Duh.
Oh, it did.
Steve? What are you reporting to Commandant Lassard? Tackleberry?
Need to go back to police academy.
I'm trying to play it like Hightower. I can just muscle my way through.
Just scream.
Yeah.
Hooks.
Yeah. Don't move your bag.
I think it was the bullets.
Steve, I did have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Does the game play?
I don't know what he used as the murder weapon. Obviously. Anyways, what?
The paper.
Like you said, you said it felt like you were watching like Law and Order. Like, do you feel like you're simply watching a movie sort of pan out and you're kind of guiding along a little bit, or does it feel more like Mass Effect, where it's like this is my story?
Well, okay, there's a like, I can answer that partially because that's actually been part of my problem that I'm very intrigued as the game goes to figure out. My one problem with the game has kind of been involved in that I don't know. A part of me feels that like whatever decision I make, the story's going to still do what it does.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's within the case, you can actually really change how you solve each case based on if you fuck up a lot or if you don't fuck up a lot. And I know that specifically because like at the end of a big case, it'll actually give you a summary of how you did. And the one that I really fucked up on, it was actually the second one that I really fucked up on. The second one that I messed up on, it actually told me at the bottom that so-and-so would have confessed if you would have made different choices. Whereas I actually went about it the harder way, which I'm not going to like go into it, but I basically, it was telling me, yo, if you would have actually went about your interviews and your interrogations better, you would not have had to do certain things you had to do.
So you feel like that's kind of cool, where it's like,
I do feel it's kind of cool because it means that I could go back and play the game again and get a different outcome in each case, but the overall story is not going to change. That's
so
the one part
it adds replayability, but it doesn't add
I think that's what's going to
spin on the story.
I think it adds replayability for a lot of people, but probably not for me. Because if I know what the grand story is going to be, I don't know that I'm really going to care to figure out the case differently.
Well, at its core, LA Noire is an adventure game, and adventure games are pretty linear. It's just a matter of how you get there.
Right.
So the nice thing about LA Noire is that someone like Heavy Rain once you finished a certain case, you don't have to play through the entire game to do it. You can go back and replay a specific case that you're like, okay, seriously, I need to figure out how I freaking supposed to do this. You know, it's like if there was a certain case that really bugged you, you can just go back and play that case by itself.
Right, there's that, but the kind of crux of that, though, is that the story in L.A. Noire is so intriguing to me so far that I have no desire to go back and redo that case. I just want to keep going because I've picked up the game night before last, and every chance that I've gotten, I've been playing it, which has only been a couple hours worth, but it's very intriguing to me, and there's a side story going on that I can finally now start to see some linking up with that is just, there's a lot of like backstory going on and side stories that you can see stuff kind of like, okay, this is all going to intersect at one point, and I want to see what happens. The story is really good so far. So, and from reviews that I've seen, it sounds like it just keeps getting better. So, I like I said, I have some problems with the fact that while it feels like I have a lot of choice and stuff, it doesn't feel like my choices ultimately affect the story.
So maybe it's just better to come up with a different mindset than like.
I think so. I think I kind of went into it expecting that how I was going to solve cases was going to affect the outcome of the story, and that does not seem so at all.
No.
Okay, cool.
Well,
I was wondering about that, so thanks.
A question, I know you're not too far into the game, but someone who enjoys Police Quest, King's Quest, Maniac Mansion, the adventure games, I've heard that this is the modern iteration of an adventure game. What do you think?
I think you could say that. It's definitely a spin on that. That's the best way I could put it, is definitely a spin on the adventure game. Whether the future holds that this is the reboot for what an adventure game is going to be, that's yet to be seen. But it's definitely a very highly interesting way of doing it, and it could definitely be something that revitalizes that genre in a different way.
Yeah, it's sort of it could be like the stepping stone for something else.
Right. There's already been a revitalization of the classic style of adventure game. This could take it a new direction, and this could be what people just call adventure games.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did want to put a note on was a big part of the game is, as far as like when you're interrogating people, it is reading their faces because of the technology that they put in the game with the animation and the I don't know how else to put it, but other than animation, but the animation of the faces is fucking insane.
Yeah,
it is uncanny.
Yeah, it really is.
But there's the counter problem with that is that the faces look so good in this game that they make the bodies kind of look like shit.
In comparison.
Yeah. The best, you know what, Dean was going to be on tonight. I really wish he would have been, and he can come to Indiana and punch me for taking his line, but I totally give this one to him. He put it the absolute best way that I've seen it. His analogy for the way the game looks is it kind of looks like at the fair when the people have those big cardboard or the big wood signs with the cartoon bodies on them, and you put your face through the hole.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
So there's just a huge difference in the level of detail, basically.
Yeah, I mean, from a lot of angles, there's not. But when they're up close doing the interviews, and especially when you're up close talking to someone, you're really just looking at their face anyways because of what you have to do in the game. So you kind of blur out everything else around you. You're not really paying attention. But if someone's animated, like with their hand gestures and stuff, it makes that look really bad.
One other thing that I think he said, and I hope it's him that said it, was that he thought was really cool was that it's a little thing, but in this game, walking upstairs, people walked one step at a time.
That was him that said that, yeah. I noticed that. It was on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Because like every time you start a new case, you have to like manually leave the police precinct, and there's a couple sets of stairs on your way out, and it's very neat. I mean, you can see that, okay, I'm going to go through this motion 100 times, but you walk down the stairs and you like just kind of hobble down the stairs one step at a time, just as you normally would, but it looks so real. The camera move, the way the animation of like the putting each foot on each step, everything just looks so real of how that's done. And the opposite, which he might have been referring to, is like when you're chasing after someone, if you're running up steps, you can be just booking after someone, and if like you run in real life and you're just running full bore, when you get to steps, you're gonna slow up. And the same thing happens in the game. You're running full bore and you get to steps, and the guys kind of like stop up real quick so they can approach the steps right. And it just, everything about that, the animations are just so good.
Man, it seems like a game that I'm going to have to play at some point.
It's really good, and especially with one finger not working, it might be a good one to pick up.
It's a good excuse.
That is a good excuse. I'm really digging it so far. And I think the reviews are not without merit. So it's awesome. it's a really good game. I don't know what else to say about it other than it's really good. It's one that will be talked about for the rest of the year, and especially at the end of the year as a possibility for game of the year. It's already a contender. I mean, and you can't
can already
say that
tell the way people are talking on podcasts and things that it's going to be there at the end of the year.
I've only played a couple hours and I'm already like, man, this is already a serious contender. I mean, when you immediately think that with playing a game that it has that wow factor that I'm not going to forget this anytime soon.
That's pretty crazy. That we're 5 months in the year, but I think we've already had that with adding this to it. Portal 2 in this already.
Yeah.
Like
and me personally, Crysis 2, but I know a lot of people disagree with that in a heartbeat. But for me, Portal 2, Crysis 2, this, it's
only
insane.
May.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's so much more to go. But I don't know. Does anybody have anything else?
No.
Not
I'm
really.
gonna pass. I'm gonna pass out pretty soon. From this vodka, dude.
This touch the sky.
Well, gentlemen, no point in hanging around this dump any longer.
Wait! Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
Show's over, folks.
You can't go. All the plants are going to die. Take off, eh?
Thanks for listening to Multiplaying, the companion podcast at multiplaying.net. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to multiplaying@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes and visit our website at www.multiplaying.net.
We've made a lot of friends, shared a lot of laughs, often at the expense of others.
I think some people are going to be upset.
Let me just close this conversation by saying you are one unique individual.
Thank you and good night.
I can see through time.
Oh, before we go though, we do have to say I think everybody in this podcast and everybody listening is probably heartbroken. Macho Man Randy Savage died today.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep.
Heavy heart we have here.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Sorry.
But on a happy note.
Anyone have a good Macho Man memory?
Anything with when he said Elizabeth, because I love the way he said Elizabeth.
You guys remember Scary Sherry? When he left Elizabeth and he was with
Oh, yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Scary Sherry.
Yeah, she was not good looking.
No.
But Elizabeth was good looking. She's dead too.
That's true.
Yeah, I think she died. She married Lex Luger and then died.
What?
Yeah. Is Lex Luger still alive?
I don't know.
I think he died too. Yeah, we're typing in the Googles. Don't you worry, listener. We're gonna find out for you. I think he's dead too. Which
no, he's still alive.
Lex Luger's still alive?
Yes.
Well, God, do you guys?
He's 52.
You guys ever have that where you thought someone was dead?
Swear to God, he's dead.
I had it earlier with James Garner. I thought he was dead.
James Garner?
Yeah, the actor. He was Maverick originally. Yeah,
and then in the remake, he was the dad in the remake.
Yeah, I could have sworn he was dead. But I googled him earlier. He's alive. Good for him.
No, Lex Luger's still alive, except for in 2007. It looks like he had a spinal stroke.
Well, yeah, he married Miss Elizabeth, and like less than a year later, I think at his house, she died.
Wow.
Some weird circumstances. I don't know.
Dun,
I hope Lex Luger wasn't in the car with Macho Man when he had the heart attack. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Keep an eye on him. Don't go.
Maybe
to
you should do a Noire investigation into him.
Yeah, maybe we should hit
the down button and maybe yell at his face.
Him. I don't think he would have real facial animations, though.
Where's
Elizabeth? But that man could put he could put a hell of someone in a torture rack. Remember that move he did, torture rack, where he put him up there?
Mm-mm.
That's all I'm saying. Oh, yeah. So on that note,
I'm keeping all this in.
Oh, you should. Who else is dead?
Jesus.
You guys remember Sapphire? She's dead. She was Dusty Rhodes' chick. Did you guys watch wrestling as kids, or am I the only one? God damn it. Okay, never mind.
Hulk Hogan's dead, right?
No, he's alive.
No, he's dead.
Well, he should be, but yeah. I think Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I don't know if he's alive or not. Hey, we saw Greg the Hammer Valentine, though.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he should be dead. But no, he was alive.
He was looking rough.
Yeah, as soon as he turned around, it's like, oh yeah, that's him. So sorry.
I feel very out of the loop.
Well,
Yeah.
you weren't alive
Brutus,
back then.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake's still alive.
Yeah, I don't think I was
Is
either.
he really?
Yeah, he's 54.
Do you guys remember the rumor the Ultimate Warrior had died? But and then they claimed it was a different guy who came in.
And then it was on the back, like the Beatles album. If you played it reverse, it said Ultimate Warrior's dead.
I don't know about that. I just
okay.
That boating accident apparently he had died in, but I don't think that was true.
So yeah, we got that.
So WWE All Stars, think you can go play that if you want to honor Macho Man.
That's true. He just did like advertisements for that shit too.
He just kind of came back because he was kind of blacklisted from that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Womp womp.
Need to get him in the WWE Hall of Fame now, finally. Come on.
Yeah.
So, let's do this, Vince.
Motherfucker.
I'm going to stop talking now because I'm way too much wrestling knowledge it's coming out here.
It's pretty it's scary.
You never knew this, did you?
No, it's pretty scary.
I taped like every WrestleMania from like 4 up until I don't know when.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're freaking me out a little bit.
There's a lot of awkward silence and chair creaks coming from the other side of the room. Yeah. You guys wrestling from the guy in Vicodin?
We should do a wrestling podcast brought to you by Vicodin every episode.
Vicodin. I just do Vicodin and talk about wrestling for like 2 hours, and then I finally realized, is no one there? Like, no one's talking for like 2 hours. You guys remember Earthquake, right?
I do remember Earthquake.
You guys remember Tugboat?
Yes, I do remember Tugboat. I remember the fat ones.
Yeah, Earthquake had crushed Hulk Hogan. Okay, here's just a quick side note. My cousin, who was like 10 years younger than me, he went to stay at our house, and I was probably like 13. So he was probably like 5 or 6. And we showed him the video of Tugboat crushing Hulk Hogan's ribs, and he cried so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's hilarious. He cried so hard.
You're like, you dumb fuck. Mean Gene.